here to kick things off. But he's under the gun today, so we're going to take this and run with it as far as we can. So the coalition, we have a nonprofit 501c3, 501c4 nonprofit. We got started literally this time 5 years ago. A little bit ago. We got started 5 years ago when our lawmakers very loudly and very clearly said they were going to legalize cannabis with the intention of making Black and brown communities that were targeted and impacted by the war on drugs whole. And here we are 5 years ago with very little to show for what our lawmakers promised. And so, we wish you were here on better circumstances, but look at this community. I want to give everybody a round of applause. This is beautiful. Today we're here representing the Alliance for Cannabis Equity. The Alliance is a network, alliance of organizations, 15 plus advocacy organizations like the Coalition, Chicago Norml. We have partners like Modern Compassionate Care, who are medical cannabis experts. Their goal is to make sure folks can use this plant for their wellness. Shout out to the 1937 group. Shout out to Spray Dispensary and BSR. Everybody, one more round of applause. None of this is possible without community. Again, we've been at this for 5 years, and if we have one thing to show for it, it's all the people in this room. This is something we have to be really proud of. Progress takes a very long time in this state and in this country. It's designed that way, and so we're going to keep down the door. And so I'm going to get ready to pass it off here, but again, our organization, the Coalition, we worked literally for the last few years to organize all of the cannabis advocates. If you're a medical advocate, you're a grower advocate, you're a social consumption advocate, we need everybody at our table because we need as much power as we can possibly build if we want to be successful. We know we can. And so, last year we came out here in the entire session, and unfortunately, our lawmakers did not advance the legislation they told us they would, and the things that we agreed upon. And so here we are back again. And so before I pass it to Ari from Chicago Norml, I just want to leave folks with, again, we legalized this plant 5 years ago. Our lawmakers took a nationwide victory talking about how great this was. They went to New York, they went to California, they talked about, if you're going to legalize, it's got to look like Illinois. They still don't have that, but they're not.
What do we want? Equity! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Equity! When do we want it? Now!
And so we're here to make sure that gold standard really comes true. So I'm going to pass it over to Ari from Chicago Norml to take us over.
My name is Ariane Richards, Executive Director of Chicago Norml. Chicago Norml has been advocating for equity and social justice in the cannabis industry since 2017. We have always placed a particular emphasis on empowering people from diverse backgrounds to participate in the legislative process to create a diverse and inclusive cannabis industry. Currently, one of the issues we see on the ground is the lack of access for medical patients. Patients should have to travel an hour, 2 hours to their closest medical dispensary. This shouldn't be an issue. Medical patients should be able to go anywhere. Medical cannabis patients take personally and need to be a priority for our lawmakers. Equity and transformation. Thank you.
What we do with out in the land, my formerly incarcerated people in the informal economy, that is we do it for what's the informal economy. People who have nothing and have their ends meet without a 9 to 5. A lot of that is salary, but too often on the street, we see our people still get harassed and still get locked up for something that now they can set up on the corner and get it was the man to do the right thing. Like Peter said, it's the 5 years we done ask. So, you know, we're here, we're really down, but it's only a matter of time before we're done asking. The man turn up the pressure. It's only right that the people really get the benefit from this. If they say equity, they say reparations, they say words like that, and the people don't feel it on the street, then you're not telling the truth, it's a lie. And you're not going to tell that.
Thank you, moderators. What up, Springfield? What's going on in the north? What do we want? When do we want it? When do we want it? Right now, baby. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jason Garcia. I'm the managing partner for CGD Law Partners, and I currently serve as the chair for the United Latino Cannabis Industry Alliance. We are a proud member. Give it up to the United Latino Cannabis Industry Alliance. We are a proud member of the Alliance for Cannabis Equity, and every board that we have over here is intentional. We are an alliance. And UCIA, which is, you know, how those who are in a rush to say the whole thing. What we came about was we are the voice and we are those affected communities in the war on drugs. Anybody knows history about weed? What do we call it? Marijuana. When I say Mari, you say Juana. Marijuana. Pass that. So, what we represent are the ones who carried this industry and pushed it forward through prohibition. And as you heard now, we had a promise 5 years ago of equity that we would be involved, and we are nowhere nearer from the days of prohibition. We're nowhere near to releasing the potential of cannabis as medicine. Right? We're nowhere near to still being looked at those marijuanas and narcos and all that other stuff. And we here to tell you, no, that's not what it is. Okay, we're here to tell you what the Latinos are. We carry this thing. Matter of fact, as people leave Illinois, Latinos, we are flooding Illinois. Okay? We are the #1 venture starters in Illinois around the country. We put $100 billion GDP here in Illinois, 3.2 trillion in the United States. We're the 5th largest GDP in the entire planet as Latinos. And you know what? We're here for our piece in this cannabis industry. And like my brother said over here, we're done asking, it is time for it. We are demanding it. This is the future. The future of Illinois, the future of industry is one rooted in equity. Bring our message, please.
Make them hear you on the third floor. Down here.
Hello. My name is Felicia Santiago. I'm Deputy Director for Chicago Norml. Chicago Norml has long been committed to fostering an equitable cannabis market. Our dedication is unwavering, and every April we redouble our effort to elevate, educate, and advocate for the medical cannabis program. Currently, there are only 55 medical dispensaries, which limit medical patients access to their medication and at times cannot receive their tax deductions. Because of this limitation, Illinois patients have to also drive long distances to receive their medication, and curbside does not always guarantee access to their preferred products. In 2023, we committed to progress and took steps forward. We submitted 4 petitions to the Illinois Department of Health Medical Cannabis Division, advocating for the addition of 4 women's health conditions to the list of qualified. One of the conditions was approved in March, making a significant victory for women's health. The remaining 3 petitions are currently under review, and we anticipate positive outcomes in the forthcoming months. But we recognize the progress cannot be achieved in isolation. That's why we have forged strategic partnerships and alliances. Together, we are on a mission to encourage individuals, businesses, organizations to actively participate in the legislative process. Our goal is clear: to shape the cannabis market that is not only diverse and inclusive, but also serves the needs of all stakeholders. From legislators to healthcare providers to recreational and medical consumers, from local entrepreneurs to multi-state operators, each of us has a role to play in this journey toward progress. Today, we stand united. Let us reaffirm our commitment to the betterment of the medical cannabis landscape. Let us continue to collaborate, educate, advocate, innovate, knowing that together we can create a future where access to quality cannabis product is not only a privilege, but also a fundamental right. Thank you.
And this one is very, very important and something we've been talking about literally for 5 years. That's around background checks and making sure people can actually get to work. Because what we have right now is folks are applying for jobs at these cannabis, whether it's dispensaries, grows. The state is doing these background checks. They're telling these companies what kind of records people have. And folks are still getting denied opportunity. There was legislation filed last week that would still ban people who had cannabis convictions on their records, specific for having a little over 4 pounds, which is not insignificant. But our goal is to make sure that the folks who build this industry, put this industry on their backs, made it okay. The state to start telling it they need to be able to participate as owners and as workers. And so we are here as well, specifically calling out the need to update some legislation so we get rid of the excluded offenses clause entirely, and that's specifically Senate Bill 3922. That we need to make that change. If people with records can't participate, we're wasting everybody's time. What's the point? And so the last thing we'll share before we get out of here, because what we're going to do is our lawmakers, they had a much busier morning than we expected them to. And so a lot of them are going to be going upstairs to the rail on the third floor. And so we're going to start heading up there in a bit. Everybody should have a folder. Please come find me so I can give you some business cards. We want to make sure that if any staffers like, hey, we need to talk about this policy, give them my contact info so we can have that conversation. But again, we really appreciate everybody being here. Just want to shout out to our sponsors one more time, 1937 Group, Modern Compassionate Care, all of our partners, Chicago Norml, Lucia, way more groups that I'm forgetting right now. We are so grateful to each and every one of you for your support. Trust and believe. We appreciate y'all. We're very excited to celebrate 420 with you this weekend. So without further ado, let's do what we do best. Let's talk. We don't want anybody